The CVC-OEI presents Design for Success, A3, Alignment of Objectives. Let's look more closely at one of our content presentation criterion from Section A in the CVC-OEI course design rubric, A3, Alignment of Objectives. We'll see why this is important and how to determine if your objectives are in alignment. Having A3 aligned means that your content is clearly aligned with and sufficient to meet the learning unit objectives. How does this contribute to a successful online course? The answer is fairly simple. When our objectives are aligned, we are setting clear goals for our students, giving our students a path towards success. When we are explicit and clear about what we expect, students will know what they need to do in order to meet the objectives. Aligned objectives are like directions. They tell students how to get from point A to B instead of taking them on a convoluted route, like from A to Q to F to B. So how does this work? First, let's think a bit more about content. Traditionally, we think of content as subject matter text like lectures or videos. However, content in an online class goes beyond just the materials and resources you're providing your students. Content can also mean the additional parts of your unit that students are interacting with, such as your formative and summative assessments. Think quizzes, discussions, assignments, projects. Now, let's look at learning objectives. These are simply descriptions of what your students are doing in the class that relate to your unit, topic, or theme. These describe tangible ways to see how your students are able to perform on a task that relates to a subject matter in your unit. For more information about learning objectives, check out the tutorial on Section A2, Clarity of Learning Objectives. Here's an example from an online writing class curriculum. The subjects covered in this unit are miscommunication, website reliability, bias, academic voice. The objectives in this unit are summarize general problems in miscommunication, analyze websites for the ABCDs of reliability, examine statements for bias, explain bias in a meme, rewrite observations narrative into third-person accounts. In addition to content elements and formative assessments, summative, that is graded assignments in this unit are discussion, researching websites about communication breakdowns for bias and currency, discussion, finding memes and examining bias, writing project, rewriting draft for third person. Do our objectives align? That is, are we telling our students up front what they will be doing? Let's check this out by going to our assessments for this unit. In the first discussion, students are summarizing miscommunication and working with website reliability. So, we have our topics of miscommunication and website reliability covered. In the second discussion, students are looking for bias and doing web research. Topic number 3, bias is covered. In the writing assignment, students are reworking a draft to write in third person. Topic number 4, covered. In short, our objectives in this unit clearly lay out what they say they will be doing. So how can you do this in your own course? It's actually pretty simple. Make a list of your unit objectives and then another list of your learning activities. If the objectives match your assessments, you're good to go. If not, you'll need to either rework your objectives to align with your assessments or think more clearly about how your assessments can be better utilized. Let's do this with an example from a fictional political science course to see how this works. In the unit, there are 3 learning objectives. Analyze the system of checks and balances among the 3 branches of government. Discuss the role of the executive branch. Examine the relationship between the legislative and executive branches. Our course content consists of the following: textbook reading, PowerPoint lecture, video materials, multiple choice quiz. Now, if we look at our objectives, they are pointing towards some higher order critical thinking tasks from Bloom's taxonomy. Analyze, discuss, and examine. But if we look at our unit content, students are simply doing a multiple choice quiz. The question we need to ask is, does our content match our goals? In this example, it's pretty easy to see the answer is no. Students are doing lower order tasks of identifying, perhaps defining, but there's little chance for them to analyze or evaluate the content. So how do we align our objectives with our assessments? In this case, the best thing to do is to look at our assessments. Can we get students to do higher order tasks? Can we add a discussion where students research the roles of the 3 branches of government and report to each other? Can we create a short group assignment where we divide our class into 3 groups where each group is in charge of researching a branch of government? Can we create a short research-based writing assignment for our students? If we rework our assessments, then we have a greater chance of aligning to our objectives and creating more robust learning opportunities for our students. So, to sum up, by aligning our objectives with our unit content, we are clearly defining our goals for student learning. Letting our students know where they're headed and how they will get there both leads the way for our students and shows them what they need to do to succeed.